What is up, everybody? Happy Saturday, and welcome back to another episode of Comic Collector Origins, episode 63. It's just been crazy. My name is Justin, aka No Good Comics, and as always, welcome back to the channel. I'm just the year's been flying by. I can't believe we're in December. I feel like I say that every week, but it really is crazy. I'm really excited for today's episode because of the very, very great friend of mine that I'm going to have as the guest, which we will get into in just a second. But before we do that, just want to address if anybody's not familiar with this show, Comic Collector Origins, it is all about the community. It is all about where I bring on guests from the comic book community and interview them about their origin stories. The way we always talk about origin stories of superhero characters and first appearances and all these other things, I figured we'd flip that and talk to our great friends and families of the comic book family and community. And so that's what this show is all about. It's been an incredible journey, as I always say. I mean, 63 episodes is wild, and I've just met so many great people and made so many great friends and so many great experiences and laughter. And whether you've been on the show yet or you've just been part of it in the chat or watching the replays, I truly appreciate it. And going into 2022 is going to be just continuing on with the good times. So with all that being said, after this episode, I'm actually going to go on a tiny hiatus for this particular show. I'll still be around. I'll still be doing other YouTube content and social media and Instagram and things like that. But for those of you, I might as well put that out there right now. I'll be closing out this year with this particular Origins, and then I'll be back again January 8th, I believe, will be my kickoff to the new year for Origins. So again, everything else will be on its regular schedule. This past week's been crazy for me. I've been kind of dealing with a head cold over the week. I've had a lot of crazy things at work. But we're kind of getting through it and getting into the holidays. That'll, kind of smooth things over. So I'm looking forward to all that, and I hope everybody's doing well. I see we already have 14 people in here. Make sure you smash that like button if you haven't already, and subscribe if you are new. Welcome, welcome, welcome. One other thing too, just as some other extra notes on the side, John and we will be back with Omni X-Men this Tuesday on schedule, 9 o'clock Eastern on my channel. So if you guys were looking for that last Tuesday, we had to reschedule and postpone the show. So again, that was just with my hectic schedule and things. But luckily, we will be back, and we'll also be joined by my good friend Jason, aka Claiming Comics, as we break down issue 139. Yeah, 139 of the Omni X-Men show. So, all right, with all that being said, I think I covered some of the basis. I'm really, again, as I talking about my guest that I have on today, she has truly become a best friend of mine, someone I consider as a family member, someone I've gotten to know just over the past 6 to 8 months that I've really gotten close to, and along the way have even been able to meet in person and hang out at Comic-Cons multiple times, and hang out with each other's significant others and all these other great things and great experiences and great fun. And of course, I'm talking about my great friend Michelle, aka Moonlitcomics, which we have so much history already just with that name and other things to come. And I'm really excited to just talk about everything, as I know some of the details of her origin story, but not all of it. And I'm definitely looking forward to hearing all the details, and hopefully you are too, you who are watching right now or catching this replay. So let me bring on my great friend Michelle, aka Moonlitcomics. Michelle, what's going on?
Hi. What's up, Justin?
Not too much. Thanks for finally being on the show. I know it's not your first time. I said this before, but you've been on this channel several times, but officially locking down an Origins date, as we've kept having to kind of reschedule and finally get this locked in here. So I'm excited.
I know. I can't believe this is actually happening. It's
Yes.
been so long. We've been trying to schedule this, and I'm just so grateful and so humbled that you asked me to be a guest, and I'm very excited.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much. I'm excited to be here, and
yes,
to the chat. We'll get to that, I guess.
yeah. And it's been a long time coming. I know. I mean, you were even saying like you've had nightmares where you thought we were just going to have to reschedule to 2023 or something like that,
Right,
so,
right. No, this is awesome.
Yeah. So really excited to have you on here again. And again, thank you for taking some time out of your day to, be part of this. Obviously, we have a lot of different questions to go through. I've even given you a little warning that I've changed some questions up beforehand. So throw you a couple curveballs. Nothing crazy, nothing crazy. But it's all about you, as you know, this show. And before I go any further, if anybody is not already following Michelle, make sure you do so. I put her information in the description below. I even put her YouTube link down in the description below, even though there hasn't been any video content yet. I will just say yet, and I'll let you, elaborate later on some other things. But if you're not already subscribed to Michelle on YouTube, you should. Michelle, you've been awesome in terms of being so supportive to the community. You've really jumped in throughout this past year that I've gotten to know you. You've been all in on supporting other channels, being there in the chats, being live streaming, which we'll get into, where I feel like I twisted your arm to really go out there and, put yourself on camera, which you've definitely done an amazing job in doing so. And again, just thinking back to where you were kind of, 8 months ago to where you are now, it's really been awesome to see you grow, to see your Instagram channel grow. I see you constantly doing these 1K, 2K, 3K giveaways. Like you're just growing, like you're catching up to me out of nowhere. And I love every minute of it. So absolutely. So before we get into all that, like I said, everybody make sure you're following Michelle on Instagram and YouTube. And I'm going to, let's say a quick hello to the chat. I see there's a lot of comments already. I'm going to try to scroll through to the top if I can get to the very top. Let's see. Yeah. So I saw, the first thing I saw here was Sheena. This was her first comment that she had put up.
I love you too.
Yeah, that was up there like 11 this morning. So appreciate you, Sheena, as always. She says we want Michelle. She's starting the chant. So I love it. So let's see. And also, of course, we got our good friend Something Wong hanging out with us.
Yay.
Good to see you, brother. We got my man TM Nerdy Station.
Yeah,
TM.
what's up?
He says he's going to catch the replay. Appreciate you, man. Just had TM on this show not too long ago as a guest, so that was really cool. Let's see. We got our great friend Michael here, who I know we've all hung out with together while we were at Terrificon and a little bit of Baltimore. So,
you're gonna love the shirt.
nice. I love it. Yeah, and usually he's out shopping. So right now it looks like he's available and he's going to be watching this whole thing. So he's excited.
Yay.
And we also got our good friend Mr. Moonlight. What's going on, John? Good to see you, brother. Love the name. Absolutely love it. I never forget Baltimore, where I'm just like, oh, there goes the Moonlits.
I know. I had to have him make that screen name because we have Lady No Good and Lady Sith and and all sorts of stuff. I was like, you're gonna have to be Mr. Moonlit. I mean, it makes sense and it'll be so funny. So yeah,
absolutely. Let's see. We got our good friend Brandon hanging out with us. Station Brandon. As always, good to see you. We have Miss So in the house as well. Miss So, hello.
So.
And we have Inja Binja saying hello.
Hi.
We have Comic Book Cuber in the house. Good to see you, Cuber.
Hey.
Thanks for stopping in. I totally agree with this, Mr. Moonlit. Let's go Ravens. Absolutely. We got my man Empire Comics. What's going on, Emp? Saying what's up. Let's see, scrolling through here just a little bit. We got Big Lion Cat. What's going on, Patrick? We had the pleasure of hanging out with him in Baltimore as well.
We did, yes.
Good times. Thanks for stopping by, my friend. Unruly Simeon also in the house. What's going on, man?
Yay.
We have our good friend JR in the house as well, representing Team Nerd Herd. Good to see you, bro. He said he's gonna catch the replay as well.
Thank you.
All right, let's see. Scrolling through, see a lot of people saying hi to each other. We got BX Boxer in the house, the hype man. Yo.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Let's see. Scrolling through here, man, we got everybody hanging out. Everybody saying hi to each other. We got Circumstances. What's going on, brother?
Hey.
Good to see you as well. I got to get you on the show here, man. I'll reach out to you, brother. Let's see. We got my good friend VP also hanging out with us.
Hey,
what's going on, VP? Let's see. We got Jay Rails in the house. What is going on, Jay Rails?
Thanks. She's by.
Absolutely. Jay Rails been killing it as well over on Instagram and YouTube.
Girl Squad.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. We got Uncanny Swag with us as always. Good to see you, Swag. All right, let's see. Scrolling through here, don't want to miss anybody. See a lot of people in the chat. We got 21 hanging out, so appreciate everybody. We got my man Kevin hanging out here. Entropy in Comics. Hello. Thanks for stopping by. We also have our good friend Gore Vidal hanging out with us.
Gore. Hey, Gore.
He said, glad to be in a saga-free safe space.
Uh-oh.
Always throwing some jabs at our lovely saga that we love. Good to see you, Gore, as always. Let's see. We got Ian in the house, Hood Rat Comics.
Oh,
what's
Ian.
up, brother?
Hey, Ian.
Good morning to you, my friend. Oh yeah, good morning on the West Coast to you.
Oh, right, yeah.
Let's see. We got Ruben Guzman in the house. White Tiger, cool, calm, collected. What is going on? Cowabunga, he says. As always. Let's see. I missed this. Oh, we got a super chat here from Perry Comics.
Oh, thanks,
Perry. Thank you, brother. I have to play a little video here anytime.
There we go.
Just a little something here. We got to throw out the famous Momoko pitch here. Here we go.
They want to just join that, crowd and be part of that and say, yeah, you Peach Momoko, Peach Momoko, Peach Momoko, Peach Momoko, yeah, Peach Momoko.
I love your face at the very end of that clip too.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
That was you that took that, actually. Yeah, I took that from you, so appreciate you doing that.
I sent you that clip because it was just too funny. Now it's a classic. I love all the clips that you have of Morbius and the two together. It's just great. I can't get enough.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Perry. Appreciate the $2 super chat. And thanks for hanging out with us. Let's see. Oh, we got my man Erod212 in the chat. Good to see you, Erod.
Hey.
What's going on, brother?
A couple times.
Yes, that's right. Over Turficon, got the pleasure to meet him as well.
Baltimore, just briefly, we got to run into each other. Yeah.
Nice.
He's doing great things on his channel too.
It's crazy because he is local to me. He is like Erod. I know we go to the same, we have some of these mini vendor cons around here, and I always just he's always there 9 o'clock, or 10 o'clock, right when it opens, and I'm always strolling in late, and he's probably out the door by the time I get there. But good to see you, Erod. Thanks for stopping in, my friend. Let's see. Yes, Scout Squad.
Yes.
We got our good friend JD in the house, Raging Cajun Comics.
Oh, decorating for Christmas. I love it.
Nice. Enjoy it, my friend. Enjoy it. He's been doing an awesome job with his show on Sundays. If you guys do not follow that, definitely check out Raging's channel as well. Mm-hmm. We also got Comic Forge. We got Guy in the house saying, what's up? What's up?
Hey, another one of my favorites.
Yes, sir. Pressable Defects in the house. Thanks for stopping in, man. All right, we're getting through everything here. I'm trying to make sure we don't miss anybody. Oh, and the chat just jumped. Let's see. We got Shotty Paige in the house. What page is it?
Hey, yeah.
She says excited. Just was able to make the show. Appreciate you. Yeah, absolutely.
I love watching her origin story, and I love her reels and stuff.
It was so Oh, every Wednesday. It's getting so catchy. Let's see. Erod says as soon as it opens. Yeah, he is in and out. He just grabs what he needs. He gets the goods and he goes. Let's see. So it did jump on me, so I apologize if I missed some people, but I'm just gonna keep. Oh no, I think I'm on track here. And we have another super chat here, $4.99 from my man Empire Comics, saying get a comic on me next week. Empire, my man, dude. Awesome. Thank you so much for the super chat. Very kind. Let me get another little video queued up here. I appreciate you, brother. Let's see, what do I have here? We'll do this one here.
And besides, I had no idea. How am I supposed to know that there's a 1 in 25 incentive variant that's out, and then on top of that, a 1 in 50 incentive variant that came out today? I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was just cover A and cover B, just like any other day.
Isn't it the truth? Isn't it the truth?
Yeah.
That's just trying to talk to my wallet. We just don't get along nowadays.
I know, right? For the last year, my wallet hates me.
Yeah. So Empire, thank you for the super chat, man. I'm going to put that $4.99 in the wallet so I can get some more comics. I appreciate you, my friend. All right, let's see. We got our good friend Phil. Oh, it didn't click. Our good friend Phil in the house as well.
Hi.
Great to see you, Phil. Says woot woot. M says he's got a dip. It'll catch the replay. No problem, man. I appreciate you swinging by for sure. Let's see, man. We got everybody here hanging out today on this fine Saturday. Okay, I think I am all caught up, at least at the moment. So again, thank you all. Yeah, for everybody hanging right now. If you're not already following Michelle, please do so. If you're watching the replay, thanks again for doing that. Make sure you smash that like button. And Michelle, let's get into the fun here.
All right, let's go. Let's do it.
So first question is not a curveball in any way. It's straightforward. So I just want to know first and foremost where this all started for you, this hobby. And I know that there's been some ins and outs and some things in between. So, but I really want to know, like, when did you first get into the idea of, reading comics and the characters and kind of what brought that on, I should say.
Oh boy, it's definitely a story. I will say that I wasn't into comics as a kid. Like, I had no idea about comics. I didn't have anyone that introduced me to comics. I didn't really watch the X-Men cartoons or anything. Like, I was just so out of the loop until an adult, and it kind of, the hobby of comics like fell into my lap. And the way it happened was, it's a little bit sad, but it's also a beautiful thing. So it might be a little bit of a long story, but I'll get into it.
It's okay. That's why we're here.
Yeah. So my dad passed away 21 years ago now when I was just a kid. And my mom, she's since remarried. She's been married now to my stepdad for about 15 years. And, I kind of thought I already had all of my dad's pictures and knickknacks and things. But my mom and stepdad both recently retired, and their plan was always to move to the beach. So as they were getting ready to move, they started clearing out a storage unit in their basement, like a storage room, with stuff that hadn't really been touched in 15 years, right? So my mom called me one day and she was like, Michelle, I have like 5 boxes of stuff I need you to go through, and it's mostly all of your dad's things. And I was like, what? Okay, like I didn't know like you kept all this stuff, that you had any of this stuff. So, she had me take these boxes home to go through and kind of, see what I wanted to keep for myself, what I wanted to give to my little brother, what, stuff maybe we needed to just get rid of, all that. So, I bring the boxes home and I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to take a few days to go through this stuff because it was a lot. And as I'm going through the boxes, I found a whole bunch of cool stuff. I mean, my dad had like a stamp collection and a coin collection, and he kept, like concert t-shirts and crystals and more photos and letters, just a bunch of really cool stuff that made me feel connected to him again,
Yeah.
So maybe like the third day or after I had already started getting into all of it, I came across an envelope in the bottom of one of these boxes, like, an old manila kind of folder envelope.
Yeah.
And it said Star Wars on the front. And I was like, what? Okay. I opened the envelope and it's a bunch of Star Wars comics. They were in bags, but they weren't boarded.
Okay.
And they were kind of just stuffed into this envelope. And for some reason, out of all the stuff that I found, those comics made me kind of just like stop and pause. And I was like, whoa, like I actually like stepped away, like I opened them. I looked at them. I was like, this is so cool. I don't think I had even like held a comic book before that. Right. Wow. Yeah. But for some reason I was just very drawn to those. And, I started looking them up and I found out that they were from the 70s when the first movie came out. And I remembered watching the movies as a kid with my dad. And it was just very special to me.
Yeah.
So Mr. Moonlit, my boyfriend, John, he came home later that night and I was like, oh, look at all this stuff I found and look at these comics, man. Like, these are so cool. And, we started kind of just chatting about everything. And it just dawned on me all of a sudden. I was like, oh my God, I think my dad's birthday was in January. Cause this was January of 2021 that all this happened. And, since my dad passed when I was so young, his birth date wasn't something that ever like stood out to me. It wasn't a day that like my family kind of like talked about or remembered.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know his birthday. But it dawned on me in that moment that I thought it was in January, and sure enough, it was in January. And it was that very day that I found comic books.
Oh, wow.
So that was kind of, one of those moments that it was just like, you get chills and you're like, oh my God, okay, like this feels like it means something, and I even told John that night, I was like, I feel like I need to finish this collection for him. Like, I need to finish this collection in his memory. I just kind of like felt that like that was meant to be knowing nothing about comics. I didn't even know like where to go, where to start, but I just knew that I wanted to set out to finish that collection for him. And so January 17th will always be a very special day, not only because it's his birthday, which I'll never forget now. But it was the day that this comic collecting journey really started for me. And it has completely evolved and snowballed in just a short amount of time from that moment. But it'll always mean so much to me because of that. And, through all this, it's like made me feel close to my father, who, I never expected this as an adult. And I'm sure he would have never expected that his daughter would be the one, to kind of carry on that.
Diving in.
Like my mom said, when they would go to antique shops, like he would look for comics like hidden in the back, in boxes and stuff. And there have been a lot of other little, just kind of like little funny things with like numbers and coincidences and surrounding the beginning of my journey that it just feels meant to be. I have no doubt in my mind. So
yeah, like just the signs. I totally get that. Yeah. I totally get that. And it's awesome to know. So this is January 17th. I mean, it's coming up. I mean, for a full year, it's coming up. You're a month away from that. That is so cool.
Thank you.
And I love, and I knew some of the the background I know you've shared with me in the past, but to really hear the details that you've shared here, as Phil has said, it's a special collection for you.
Yeah.
And obviously those books mean way more than what the average person would view those books as. I mean, obviously we all have our own ties to certain things and, things that mean something special to us. But for you to have this collection that you found and how it's changed you, how you've grown with this collection. It's not just reading the books and having the stories, but like, it's brought you in. Obviously, it's brought you into this community. It's brought you into the connections that you've made, the friendships that you've made with everybody that's here in the chat right now, the people that are in this comic book community, the experiences now. I just think of all the different experiences that you've had just in this short period of time with the comic book community. And it all came from this one special moment, of what you've kind of turned into.
And it's funny too, because before that, like, pretty soon, like before I discovered off the rails is right. Before I discovered the Star Wars books and all that, like I would always tell John, like, I need a hobby. Like I have things that I love. Like I love to cook. I love craft beer. I love traveling and music. But I love like crafting a little bit here and there. But like, I never had like a true hobby. Anything I got into would last like a month or two, and then I would be on to the next
move
thing.
on. Yeah.
So like, I don't know, the fact that this fell into my lap in this particular way with the connection to my dad and the fact that this is a hobby that now I cannot see my life without, and it's brought me so much joy. It's perfect. And I am so grateful for it.
It's definitely a game changer. I can tell. And what I wanted to bring up too with this whole you being involved, like, so you mentioned at the beginning, you weren't really into the superhero stuff, the comic book stuff prior to this, right? Like, so like you missed out on the cartoons in the 90s. You weren't into anything like that, really.
I was into like cartoons, and I was into like video games and Power Rangers and like all that stuff. But I guess like my childhood, I wasn't exposed to like X-Men and Batman and superheroes type of stuff. And like, so comics were just never on my radar. Like even any of like the Marvel movies as an adult, like I always just kind of skipped over them because I didn't really care about that stuff. And I never seen her take up a hobby until she found those comics. It's been a game changer. I love it. And then when like I first started to get into collecting, it was solely for the purpose of finishing the Star Wars run. And naively, I thought like that was where I was going to begin and end.
Sure.
And that was it.
It opened up a whole other can of worms. Right.
Yeah. And like initially I wasn't, we can get into it more a little bit later, but like after a while I was like, okay, like if I'm going to be looking for these books in comic shops or online. Like, maybe there's some other stuff I might want to get into. Like, maybe I should find a character that, that I think is cool. So I'll have two things to search for,
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't want to like, hunt for Spider-Man books or like Superman books. Like, whatever. I don't like that stuff. So I kind of immediately was drawn to like the kind of the more like horror, vigilante type characters like Ghost Rider and Moon Knight and Swamp Thing and all those types of stuff. So
yeah,
and it's evolved. It's snowballed from there.
Well, and what I wanted to ask you too was, or I know this story, but I think it's something kind of entertaining for you to share with others, is how you got into the movies and how I feel like I was your coach on how you had to go back and watch certain movies, because you didn't really watch any of the Marvel films, right? Other than maybe like one or two, or
I think I had seen like Age of Ultron.
Okay, like randomly,
maybe like a little bit of like Iron Man, or like I had seen some of them, but I never had like sat down and watched an entire movie or really cared about Marvel at all because I wasn't into it.
Right.
So, all right, after I started collecting the Star Wars books, I said, we need to watch the movies. Okay, so I had only seen the first trilogy as a kid. It had probably been over like 20 years since I had watched those movies.
Yeah.
So John and I sat down and we watched all the Star Wars movies, even the new ones, and even like the Rogue One, and like just all the Star Wars movies, and the Mandalorian, which I love.
Yep.
Like I always thought like a Grogu or Baby Yoda was so cute, but I had no idea how, like, now I get the hype after watching this. But anyway, so we started with the Star Wars stuff. We finished all that. And then we were like, the more and more I started getting into this hobby, the more I became interested in these movies. And we knew that WandaVision was coming out.
Right.
So, we wanted to watch WandaVision, and we did. It's funny because we watched WandaVision and then we started watching all the Marvel movies in release order. So we were kind of working like from both ends, like, and met somewhere in the middle. But yeah, we started watching all the Marvel movies in order. John had seen more of them than I had, but it was definitely something special to see them all and see how they connect. And I mean, these are some of my favorite movies of all time now.
Yep. And you binged them. You like sat and binged like.
We did. Like we would watch like, maybe one or two a week.
Yep. Which is tough. It's not easy to do. That's a lot of time that you got to put into this stuff.
And this was after the Star Wars binging. So there was like several months where like all we did was watch Star Wars and Marvel stuff. That was it.
I love it.
But it was so fun. We had so much fun watching them. And like you said, Justin, I would keep you updated, and you kind of like coached me through. We would like chat about the movies as I saw them. And I know you said many times that you were jealous that I got to experience that for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like Haley. Haley had the same experience. She just went through, I saw from her origin story, she did the same thing. So yeah, it's really cool. And now I'm caught up. I'm up to speed. I'm in the loop. And now I will watch anything Marvel that releases going forward.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, I remember sending you like voice notes of like the order. I was like, you got to watch this, and this. And there was like one moment where you like almost missed a Spider-Man. I'm like, no, make sure you watch Spider-Man.
That was the thing, because I think we were on Disney Plus, and I don't know if the Spider-Man movies were on there, or for some reason it wasn't on like the list I found online or something like that. So I almost missed watching those like before like Infinity War and Endgame, wherever they fell in. Like me from that.
So great. Yeah. I wanted to highlight a couple things here I see in the chat. Gore says, Michelle, is that why your interest Daredevil, Moon Knight, and Ghost Rider is so strong, since they were from that era?
Yeah, I mean, so I have always loved like history. I've always been into like antiques and old things. So part of the reason why I loved those Star Wars comics so much were because they were from the 70s and they had that history to them. So when I started branching out from there, I gravitated towards that same era, like of the Bronze Age, and still to this day, that's my jam. Like that's 90% of what I collect are Bronze Age comics. Silver Age is cool too. I mean, and Justin, you started getting me into reading new comics. And
Yeah.
well, yeah, I think he is talking about the hip hop variant. That
Oh, okay.
slowly, although I will always collect bronze and silver age stuff, and that's kind of my passion.
Yeah.
There are a lot of cool modern stuff as far as reading, and then the hip hop variants and different things like that. So
totally.
I appreciate it all. But yeah, to answer Gore's question, yeah, I guess that's kind of why I love characters from that era. I just I love it. I love the art. I love the history, the stories, and
totally.
it just means more to me.
And I really like the breakdowns that you do over on Instagram. If you guys have not seen any of Michelle's posts, I really appreciate the detail that you put into your posts. Not only just like you describe the issue itself, you break down kind of some of the things that happen. You talk about the creators, who's involved in this. If there's an extra little trivia piece about the issue, I feel like all of that's involved in that. And there's a lot of books that you posted I haven't read. I just haven't had the opportunity to read yet for one reason or another. And so it's a nice way for me to kind of get a quick glimpse into what certain issues are about. And I just appreciate the fact that you take time to read your books, which is also great. So
and I mean, so for me, like the books in my collection, I don't just like, I mean, some of them I might just buy for the cover and I might not open them or so much later.
And that's okay.
I have a lot of books. I have a lot of books now.
Yeah.
But the ones that I share on Instagram are the ones where like, I appreciate the books. I'm researching them. I want to know who did the cover and who wrote the story. And I want to know if there are any fun facts about it. I want to know how that story and how those characters, might tie into other things or, so I'm looking up that stuff myself anyway, because that's why I love comics. So I figured the least I can do is share the information that I'm already, finding out for myself with others.
Totally.
Yeah. So
and that's what it's all about, right? I mean, it's not just about the story, but it's about how it made you feel and how you want to share that with, others who might also relate to that in some way. So I like that you take the time to do that. Nigel here saying Michelle is a key member in the comic community. It's a treat to see what she brings to the hobby.
Thank you, Nigel. That's so sweet. I appreciate that.
And Mr. Moonlit talking about saying that you're very much into the anti-heroes.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, but now I do have an appreciation for all like the major, superheroes and stuff. But
totally,
my love is mostly for like the anti-heroes and the horror and all that stuff.
Yep. J-Rail says, I love how you glow, Michelle. So happy we met through comic books.
Yes, likewise. You were awesome. Thank you so much for that.
And we got we got Paul in the house here too.
Paul.
What's up, Paul?
Hey.
I was scrolling through. I missed some people from before. I saw that Back Issues Paulie was here. He's been hanging out with us.
Paulie, hey.
Real Rude 6, he's been hanging out with us.
Rude, hello.
Let's see. I know obviously Nigel, we just read his comment. Nigel's been hanging out with us as well. So appreciate everybody who's been here. Hey, we got Bearded Comic Bro, my man Greg. Hey. What's going on, Greg? Good to see you, my friend.
We were just on Morb's channel for the hip hop variant.
Nice.
Episode. That was super fun. Bearded is awesome. Definitely follow him. He has some great content.
Oh, absolutely. I echo that for sure. And there, man, this chat just keeps jumping on me. People were talking about your guitar, by the way. That's in the background earlier.
So that's Mr. Moonlit.
Okay, yeah, he was. They were talking about that in the chat.
This is his office. Actually, I mean, he has such a great setup. He has multiple monitors and a nice camera and mic and a big desk. And so when I first started hopping on to different YouTube shows, I quickly realized that streaming from my laptop over Wi-Fi in the kitchen was not going to work at all.
I remember when you were testing that out.
So John was like, babe, just stream in my office. It's perfect for it. It's already set up. So that's what I've been doing. But I do have plans to kind of change things up. I have an entire room upstairs dedicated to my comic collection and all of my, I have a shelf with things on display and all my short boxes. And I also have my record collection and a record player and art on the walls. And so that's like my space upstairs. And I really would love to be able to stream from up there at some point. So that's in the works.
Nice.
For sure.
Nice. We also got my man Bobby Delgado in the house and our good friend Anthony hanging out in the chat as well.
Hey.
Appreciate everybody swinging by. And Jason as well. Missed Jason before too. Thanks for swinging by, Jason. So let's I want to dive into the next part, which is just talking about some of the books that might mean something special to you. Do you have a couple things that you want to show off here that you might have a story about or something that you want to share?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have a little stack here.
Cool.
So first I want to start with the first book in the stack in the envelope of Star Wars books from my dad's collection. And that's Star Wars issue number 1.
Nice.
I have it in a Mylar and a top loader because all my favorite books, I'm like, they're not slabbed or anything. So I want to protect them. But
Totally. No, that's like the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
Really nice condition there, it looks like.
Yeah, it's like a mid-grade copy. Like I said, they were bagged but not boarded in a really beat up envelope in the bottom of a box that had been in storage for who knows how long.
Right.
So considering that, yeah, it's in pretty decent shape.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It looks nice from here. It looks clean. For a black, those black spines are tough,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it's beautiful to me. Even if it was ripped in half, it would still mean a lot to me.
Totally.
So this for sure will forever be one of my favorites. And I also, I knew I wanted to keep the envelope. So I have the envelope. I kind of like put it around a bag and board so you can see both sides. So like,
I love it.
He had written like Star Wars on the front. You can see how beat up this envelope is. I mean, It was just, and I made the little note here because on the other side, he wrote the missing issues. But as I went through the books inside, I realized that they didn't quite line up with these. They did for the most part, but I wanted to make sure I never forgot which issues were in my dad's original collection. So I wrote them down. There were 14 issues. And now I'm almost done with the run, but that way, like, I'll know, like, those were the original ones. Like, I'll always know for sure. And then, I have to keep the beat up envelope.
I love it. I love that you were able to keep this and have this obviously ties into your story and everything that that you're sharing here with us today, keeping that memory strong, to have that. It's really special. I like that you threw it in the bag too. It's good. That's what these bags are for. They protect stuff like that, so it works.
And this stays in the front of the short box. And I started with 14 issues almost a year ago. January 17th will be 1 year. And I only need 2 more issues to complete the entire run, issues 101 and 102.
Wow.
And also, I don't really care much in general about like newsstand versus direct. I know sometimes it makes a big difference in value and rarity and stuff. Since every single issue in his collection was a newsstand, before I even knew what that meant, when I would hunt for the comics, I was like, well, I want them all to match. So
that worked out.
Every single book in the collection is a newsstand copy. So that's why it's taken me a little longer because, I could have easily found those, the missing issues if they were like direct or whatever. But so I'm hoping to find those last 2 issues like in the wild. And the day that I finish the collection will be very, very special. Like I'll probably go out to dinner with John and just like reminisce and celebrate.
Totally. You'll have to show them all. You'll have to, maybe do a video or something, and really show off the collection. That's so cool. And it worked out that you started getting the newsstand stuff. I think that I really like that.
It's just a fun little like detail about the collection is that they happen to be all, because I'm kind of OCD at times. And like I said, I wanted them all to match. And
I'm
now
the same. I'm totally the same. Yeah. I did that with my ASM, Todd McFarlane stuff. I was like, it has to be, and that's the fun too, is like, you're taking extra time, like you said, or it takes a little extra time to find these specifically. Whereas sure, you could grab the first one you find, and some of these are a little easier than others, but like, it makes it even more fun to know that there's a specific one you want, and you're not going to settle for, anything less than that type of, in this case, a newsstand variant. So
I actually have 1 direct issue in the collection, and I accidentally bought it without even realizing. And it's Star Wars Annual 3. But the way that I'm like okay with that is because that is the only copy that I actually got signed by Klaus Janson in person. So I was like, okay, it's the outlier, it's the only direct edition one, but it's also the signed. So like
that's cool. Yeah.
That satisfies my my like OCD there.
Totally.
So I do have some other books that I want to show. So I will get into my next.
Oh, wait. Before you do, I have to highlight. Your man is throwing money at me. I don't know how to react right now, but he's throwing. John, I'm going to take you out for a beer with this money next time I see you, because you do not do that, man. Thank you so much. He throws a $9.99 super chat. Says, thanks for all it. Thank all of you for welcoming Michelle into this community. She truly loves everything about this. Makes shopping easier for me too. There you go. That's a great point as well. Let me play a quick video for John here, because I appreciate that. Here's a great one.
I was wondering if maybe you had a little time to talk about a comic book with me.
Babe, I'm so stressed today. I have so much work to do. Can we talk about this another time?
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. I get it. I will. I'll call one of my friends and see if they're available to talk about Batman. Thanks. Hey, what's up, Mom? Yeah, it's me.
I love it.
Gotta call my mom,
Yeah. Hey, John, thank you. Babe,
yes,
Mr. Moonlit, whatever we want to call
Mr.
him.
Moonlit. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the super chat. And you're getting a lot of love here from the chat too. I wasn't able to highlight everything, but
well, thank
sharing
you
your story here.
The fact that you're all here tuning in, or you, as Justin would say, yes, you on the replay.
Yeah. Talking to you.
Very much.
Does that work? That works, right? You feel like, oh, he's talking to me.
Yeah, I mean, because I watch so many shows on the replay.
Totally, same here.
But so okay, I started
let's see.
with Star Wars stuff, and then I decided that I should at least have one other thing that I want to, look for while I'm out and about.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. I think I must have Googled non-traditional comic characters, something, because I didn't want to look for Spider-Man, X-Men, Batman, all that.
Right.
And I think I must have come across a list of old horror characters and Ghost Rider. Oh, hey, Morb, what's up? Thanks.
What up, Morb?
Yes. But Ghost Rider was the first character that I was like,
nice.
Dude, this is exactly what I was kind of picturing when I'm looking for stuff that I might be into that's not kind of the mainstream characters that everybody knows.
Right.
Comic Cuber. That's funny. Yeah, I can't help it. But yeah, so Ghost Rider and Son of Satan, those were the two characters that I first started hunting for. And the very first time I went to my LCS to look for Star Wars books, I already had those, Ghost Rider and Son of Satan in mind. I was like, I told the guy, this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I'm very close with the owners. I go there all the time. It's my local shop, To Be Continued Comics in Crofton, Maryland. But the first time I was there, I told him I wanted to look for Ghost Rider. And he was like, oh, well, actually, I have a book here on the wall. It was a raw copy of Marvel Spotlight 5. He was like, yeah, this is the first appearance of Ghost Rider. I had no idea. And I was like, oh, that's cool. How much is that? He said $250. And I was like, oh, hell no. I can't spend that. I could not fathom spending more than $20 on a single book.
Yeah.
So I was like, I mean, that's really cool, but nah, I'll pass. The biggest regret to this day in my journey was not, it was probably I mean, it was definitely a lower mid-grade copy. And I just had no idea. And of course it was gone within days.
Right.
So that has always been a book that's probably my number one grail that I'm on the hunt for. However, since that terrible day that I passed up a grail of mine not knowing, I have since picked up some other Ghost Rider issues that I'm very proud of. So
nice.
I did get this was also in the very beginning of my collecting career. I got a very beat up copy of Ghost Rider 1.
Oh, nice.
You can see though it's been loved.
Love it.
But I was very happy to, I think, I paid $30 for this, and I love it. Eventually I'm going to upgrade this, but not until I get a Marvel Spotlight 5.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm actually working on that. So the same guy, the same shop, he has another raw copy of Marvel Spotlight 5. It's going to be at least twice as much as I would have paid a year ago. But it's something that he is holding for me and saving for me. And I'll probably end up picking it up within the next couple of months.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
And until I get that Marvel Spotlight 5, I do have the rest of the Marvel Spotlight. So
very nice.
yeah.
And shout out to Sove, by the way. He's freaking out because he loves Ghost Rider.
I'm gonna be so happy. I have the Ghost Rider shirt, and I got the books. With me. But I do have the rest of the Marvel Spotlight run.
Wow, very nice.
So and I'm almost finished with the Volume 1 collection as well.
They look really clean. Is that Mylar? Do you have them in Mylar?
Yeah, they are
very
all
nice.
Mylar, but yeah, they are. They're in pretty good condition for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I love this Marvel Spotlight 6. This covers everything. So yeah, Ghost Rider for sure will always mean a lot to me, and Moon Knight. So Moon Knight. So I started collecting the Marvel Spotlight issues, and I started looking to see what other characters were in that run because I thought it would be cool to have all the Marvel Spotlights, right?
Yeah.
And I saw Moon Knight. And I was like, who the hell is Moon Knight? That sounds really cool because I've always loved the moon. Anything that has to do with the moon, like art, jewelry, like just the way that the moon connects to different spiritual aspects and how it affects our bodies and our planet. And I don't know, I've always been like a space nerd and a moon nerd. So I saw Moon Knight and I was immediately like, yes. And he just looked so cool.
Totally.
So that and Ghost Rider were my first two characters I fell in love with. I started collecting Moon Knight, and I have finished the Volume 1 run, and I don't have his first appearance, but I do have his second appearance. I might never have Werewolf by Night 32 as his first appearance, but at least I have 33.
Oh, that's a great one. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, if I get Werewolf by Night 32, it'll probably be like a super low, like beat up copy. But
hey, you never know.
I'm happy with that.
You never know. You never know what you get your hands on randomly sometimes. But that's also, and it's also just a great way to go about getting the second, appearance. I know that those, first, especially with nowadays with a lot of first appearances going through the roof, money wise. Those second, third, fourth appearances, they also go for a lot, and they're going to be harder and harder to find little by little. So I think that that's also just a great, next stepping stone to what you're doing.
So, second appearance, that's special. I have his first solo story and
nice.
Spotlight.
That's a popular book too.
I have, and this is a great book. I have there's 2 issues in the Spotlight run that I have for Moon Knight. I have a big Moon Knight collection. I have a few copies of Moon Knight 1, and I have the full Volume 1 run. Nice. And so the Volume 1 Moon Knight run was my very first full completed run. I mean, it's a smaller one, so it was a little bit easier. Yeah. And I think Star Wars will probably be next, and then Ghost Rider and Tomb of Dracula. I have one more book to show real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tomb of Dracula and Werewolf by Night and Swamp Thing were kind of the next characters or books I started collecting. And but Tomb of Dracula to me is like I love reading these comics. They're great reads. The art is fantastic. It's probably one of my all-time favorite runs that I've ever come across. So this was to me a big grail book, Tomb of Dracula 1.
Oh yeah. Wow. And that is a big book right there.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. This covers by Neil Adams. And, a lot of first issues don't also include the first appearance of a character, but this does. And I love this run. One of my absolute favorites. And so yeah, getting this book meant a lot to me, especially because it was from my favorite LCS. He had this for me. He was like, I have a book you're gonna want. I know you need. And it was this one. I was like, yep. Ring me up.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So that's I know that took a little while, but
no, this is what it's about. This is what it's about. And I love hearing these stories because again, to know especially that it's been a short period of time for you to kind of figure this out and, just say, hey, let me just start exploring this. What I want to start collecting that. Like, it's cool to kind of hear how you decided to go about that. Because everybody, we all have our own kind of, what draws us to certain characters or whatever the case may be. So, but you dove right in and obviously you got some big books there. So
it's definitely evolved. It's been a journey.
Yeah.
It started with one thing, and then over time, just learning about different characters. I love like the crossovers, like Ghost Rider led me to Son of Satan, and Werewolf by Night led me to Dracula, and like Moon, just I love it all.
Yep. A lot of it connects in that way. It's cool. Hey, we got my man Chad in the chat right now. What's up, Chad? Haven't seen you in a while. Hope all is well, my friend. Yeah, you're getting a lot of love in the chat. A lot of cool emojis. Everybody's liking the books.
Thank you so much, guys.
Let's see. Scrolling through
a lot of books. It was hard to like narrow it down.
No, it's I know you have a ton more that are obviously special books in their own way. And again, anybody who's not following you on Instagram, if you want to see more, definitely go follow Michelle on Instagram.
Thank you.
Art Chemist in the house. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in as well. Gore wants to know if Doctor Strange is on your list, the post Steve Ditko era.
So I do have a little bit of a Doctor Strange collection for sure. So most of my Doctor Strange collection is like his first volume, I think, like from the maybe the 80s or late 70s, early 80s. I don't know. But recently I have picked up a few of the Strange Tales, like the Silver Age Strange Tales issues, which are really cool too.
Totally.
So Doctor Strange is kind of like a newer character on my hunt list, and I'm not super familiar with him yet. But the Doctor Strange books I do have, I really like, and I'll continue to collect them.
Yeah, I'm with you in that I haven't really taken much time to explore some of the older 70s Doctor Strange and things like that. I see even something along Gore saying Michelle would love the 70s Doctor Strange stuff. Yeah, I've seen some of the artwork. It's insane.
Yeah, I do. I do love it. I just don't have a ton in my collection yet. But yeah.
That's what's great about this hobby. There's always going to be something new on the horizon. As you wrap up, one collection, you'll be on to the next one. So, hey, and a quick hello to Chef RD Harris, who's also hanging out in the chat. Okay. Good to see you, Chef. Thanks for stopping in, guys. Make sure to smash that like button. And if you're not subscribed over to Michelle's channel and Instagram, make sure you do so. We got 22 people hanging out with us still. So appreciate all of you. So why don't you tell the folks how you came up with your name for your Instagram channel?
Yeah. Okay. So, when I started collecting, I didn't know about Instagram. I was just kind of doing this on my own. And I initially found like some of the Facebook groups and stuff like that.
Right.
And those are cool, but I don't ever go really on those anymore now that I found the Instagram and YouTube communities. But I started posting comics on my personal Instagram page, and I started doing that, and it started kind of growing faster than I anticipated. And I started having all these random people following my personal account. And at some point I was like, I think I need to like cut this off now and start a new comic page, dedicated to my collection.
Yep.
There are a lot of reasons why I wanted to separate it. And Justin was the person that I went to like, just kind of for advice about that and how to do it. And I'm like, I don't know, what am I even going to call myself? Like, I have no idea. And I think I sent you a list of like 10 names. Some of them were probably ridiculous if we went back.
Yep.
But I don't know, like I said, I've always loved anything to do with the moon. And space, and I'm a night owl, and it's kind of a nod to Star Wars too, because there's many moons in the world of Star Wars. And then I had already at that point discovered Moon Night, and and also like Moonlit reminds me of like a beautiful moonlit evening, but also like lit could be like literature, or lit like like party, like we're partying, I love to drink, I love beer. So I don't know, it just
a lot of secret meanings.
Right. It just felt right to me. And and remember you told me, you were like, whatever you choose, just make sure you're okay with like people calling you that in the chats. And I was like, yeah, okay, I could see that. We'll roll with it.
Totally. I remember we were going back and forth. It was like a morning. I remember like I just got to work and I sent you like this long voice message and kind of giving you some heads up about certain aspects of the names. And I was like, I was like, come up with like, force yourself to think of like, 20 different names. And even if they don't sound great or they're silly or whatever, at least it gets your mind going.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like I said, that people are going to call you this, whatever it is. I didn't think of that for me when I made No Good Comics. And I feel like most people call me No Good. Like that's just it's catchy now at this point. Like I'm very much used to it, but I never creating that name would have thought that like, okay, I got to be careful. People are going to start calling me No Good or No Good, or something like that. Like I just never put two and two together. But I'm glad that it like, it sounds like I said, I think to me now it sounds natural. And it just kind of fits. But I think it's something people don't consider. Yeah. When they're first making it. But Moonlit.
I also wanted to make sure like I looked up whatever name I was going to choose. Like a few others, I think like, other people had already taken the username or there was like
that's the other thing. You got to make sure no one has it.
Yeah, so nobody had this, so immediately like I got the Instagram name and an email and the YouTube, and I'm like, all right, like we're rolling with it, and
perfect.
I love it. So thank you for your help with that.
Heck yeah, absolutely. Hey, we got Jay in the house, the Butcher 105, representing the principal defects as well. Good to see you, brother. So I love again, I like I said, like in the beginning, like we have so many things where I'm thinking back, like I feel like I've watched you literally start from scratch.
Yeah, no, you've seen this entire journey unfold thus far,
and it's been under a year, which is crazy. It's been under a year.
January 17th will be
so the other thing I want to talk about too is tell us a little bit about your journey with Comic-Cons, because let us know how have you been to a lot of Comic-Cons? Tell us that whole thing. I know you and I we've met up before, but where do you stand with that?
I never in a million years thought I would go to a comic convention. I'd always seen them. Like I used to wait tables like down in Baltimore when I was in college and stuff. So at the Baltimore Convention Center, like anytime the Comic-Con was going on, like you would know because there's people dressed up in cosplay walking around, and it was always one of those things that like I knew about, but I had literally no intention of ever attending. But that completely changed once I started collecting comics, and I realized like, oh my God, like I can go to a convention and basically shop 50 different vendors at once. I can meet up with my friends. I can meet artists. I can buy local artwork. And like once I got into this community, that was definitely a goal of mine. And the very first one I attended was Terrificon in Connecticut. So John and I actually drove up from Maryland for that weekend. And it was an absolute blast. Like it was so fun. And we got to meet you in person there for the first time, which you and a lot of others I met that weekend. It didn't feel like we were meeting for the first time. It felt like I was kind of reuniting with friends.
Totally.
Because the way this community is, it brings us all so close, and we get to know each other on a deep level. So meeting in person was very special. And at that convention, I got some signatures. I did some shopping. We got to hang out and party. It was at the casino. I loved it. And then I went to Baltimore Comic-Con, which was a little bit different. I still loved it because we live 45 minutes away from the convention center. So that was
convenient.
Totally different. Although in hindsight, I wish we got a hotel because still 45 minutes to an hour back for like 3 days in a row really sucks.
It can add up. Yeah. Plus next time you got to catch Nigel singing next time.
I know. Would have totally been there if we had a place to stay. We could have Ubered. But no, I loved, and I got to meet even more people at Baltimore. And for me, Baltimore was a little more about kind of like networking and meeting vendors and actually hunting, because Terrificon, I didn't have too much time to like hunt. I did get some great books there, but Baltimore, I had a lot more time to like dig through boxes and talk to people. And two different, hey, Tim.
What's up, Tim?
Two different experiences, but two great conventions, and I can't wait. I'm not sure what my next one will be, but I'll be back to both of those in 2022 for sure.
Oh, good. Yeah, I was going to ask. I mean, those I feel like are a must in terms of the people that were there, the convenience of like where they are, all that stuff. And like you said, like you learned a little bit in terms of like how to prepare for next time. So for Baltimore, even though you are, closer, it might still be, like you said, nicer, at least for one of the nights, to kind of, be able to have something where you stay a little longer or whatever. And you're always welcome. I mean, this past time was really cool. I was able to, split a Airbnb with JR and Copy. And so we would always be down for something like that again. You and John, we plan something out.
Yeah, we'll definitely plan 2022. It's going to be great. And hopefully I can add in a couple other conventions, like new stuff next year too.
Yeah, totally. And I'll send you the list of what I plan to go to, because I think that. There's some other good ones I think around here, and some, I want to, oh, by the way, I know C2E2 is going on right now, like this weekend.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I am so jealous seeing all the great pictures of people with all these amazing artists that are there. Like Jenny Frison is there, and Dustin Nguyen is there, and I keep seeing all my friends, all of our friends, sharing these great things. So
Chicago, right? Chicago is a great city too.
And I think next year it's going to be at a different time. So, because I think they move things back because of the pandemic and stuff. So I think this year, I think it's going to be a little earlier. So I'm going to keep an eye out for it. But either way, I'll definitely let you know. It'd be cool to plan some more stuff for sure. Yeah. I see Fapton America is in the house. What's going on, man? Good to see you. And let's see. I also, Paul was saying Justin and a casino plus comics. Yeah, man.
I know.
That's my combination. Exactly. And Wong was saying, we need to all get together here in the Northeast. I agree.
Yeah.
And
I got to meet him at Baltimore.
That's right. Yeah. It was great to finally put a face to a name here for Mr. Something Wrong.
I love it.
Yeah. So we're about at the hour mark. I obviously want to get into some of the different rapid fire questions with you as well. But before I do want to ask you this one other question before we get into the rapid stuff. And that is, when it comes to advice for new collectors, new readers, people who might just be on the outside looking in and considering getting into this great hobby, with your experience of being in it for almost a year, what comes to mind when if someone were to ask for advice, someone that's brand new to getting into this hobby, what would you say to them?
I would tell them to have an initial goal, something that means something to you, something that you can connect with as an initial goal, and kind of maybe have an idea about what you might like to collect or read. And know that that's going to change over time, and that's okay. It's going to evolve. That's the journey. That's the beauty of it. But at least getting into it initially, find some type of connection and goal, and collect what you like. I would say too, don't follow the hype. Like don't jump into the hobby just following what someone else is buying or following what the hot books are, and don't spend a bunch of money right away. Start with like $1 books, $5 books, or if you know that you have a connection to certain characters or runs, like me with Star Wars or Ghost Rider, make an exception for that, but just kind of let it evolve. And as long as you have a connection to the hobby and you are buying what you love, or you're just sticking with your initial goal, even if that is investing or reading, then you really can't go wrong. But I think for new collectors, it's easy to get overwhelmed if you don't have that initial kind of goal or direction or something that you love and you want to follow. So,
I think that
take advantage of the community, ask questions, hit people up, because there's so much to learn, so much to know and to discover. So definitely take advantage of this community, and everybody here is amazing. So yeah,
absolutely. And well said. I think one of the things too that you really pointed out too is the fact that your goals can change, and that's totally okay. And I know for my own personal taste, I've changed several times in terms of what I've been into and kind of what I define myself as, where, it used to be, I feel like I used to define myself as like the Daredevil guy. Like I was this Daredevil guy. I collected a lot of Daredevil, posted a lot of Daredevil. Now I rarely post Daredevil. I still really like him, but now I feel like I'm more of a mutant guy, more of an X-Men guy, and like you said, like it's all okay. And it's just important that you kind of, try to narrow down and focus, because that's where I was. Daredevil was my thing at the time. I wanted to focus on that. And then as you collect stuff, maybe you complete stuff, and then you're like, okay, like now what? What's the next step? Because it never ends. That's the thing. And all of us as readers and collectors, we know that this hobby never ends, and our wallets know that this hobby never ends.
That's why it's perfect too, because like it's not like this is a hobby like all my other hobbies in the past, where after 2 months I'm going to be like, man, all right, I'm moving to something else. Like this for me can truly be a lifelong hobby, and I don't ever see myself getting bored of it because there's always something new. There's so many aspects to comics and collecting. So
totally. By the way, I got another super chat here, $4.99 from Ages Comics of Alaska. What is going on? Lou and Amy. Thank you guys for the $4.99 super chat. Really appreciate that. I gotta play a video here. And by the way, Amy and Lou, while I have not yet had the pleasure to hang out with them in person, I know that they are huge community members, and probably going to have to get them on this show at some point as well. And I know they've done a lot of other things with a lot of other community members, including 3 Men in a Basement. I know that they're very good friends with Otto and the crew. So, and always just and supportive of the things I've done too. So Amy and Lou, appreciate that. And I'll play this little clip for you guys. Since Morb is here, we'll throw this one in. What's the password? No, it's the next door over. Oh. Yeah, sorry, man. All good. Man, some people.
I love the little skits you guys do.
We were talking about that before. That was like on the fly too. Like that was just completely. He literally stepped out for some reason and like came back in and I was like, oh, let me just film this. But he played it perfectly. So love you more, and thank you, Ages Comics of Alaska for the super chat. Also, to highlight one other one that I have here, just got another super chat, another $4.99 from Tim Stacy. Yes, our good friend Tim. Tim, love your artwork. If you guys don't follow Tim over on Instagram, you certainly should. He teams up with Team Nerd Herd very often, does a lot of awesome live sketches time to time as well, and just putting out a lot of commissions and giveaways and things like that. So Tim, love your work, and I do appreciate that $4.99 super chat.
He's incredibly talented. I own original art and prints from him, and I just I can't get enough of his work. So yeah, if you're not familiar, do yourself a favor and follow him and check him out. Yeah, amazing artist and a super, super awesome, genuine guy. Like I can't say enough good things about Tim. Agreed.
And I'll put this little GIF up here for that.
Yes.
Thank you, Tim. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the super chat. Getting a lot of laughter and love in the chat here. Love this community. Absolutely. Could not agree more. They said just send the chat. Yeah, the invite. We'll definitely will have to link up for sure. 100%. So
Mr. Moonlit mentioned that Tim and I collaborated on my 3,000 follower giveaway.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Nice of him. So that was really fun. Hopefully we can do it again down the road.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. So I think it's time for us to get into some of the rapid fire stuff here. And again, thank you all for sticking around, hanging out with us right now. Or if you're watching this replay, thank you for taking the time to do so. Again, if you're not already following Michelle, make sure you do so, including her YouTube channel, even though there's no stuff on there yet. You should be subscribed. Yeah, you should be subscribed. So, all right, let's get into some of the questions here. The first one I'm going to bring up, and I am curious of this answer of yours, because you did name a few different characters that you certainly are very into. But if you had to choose just one, who is your favorite comic book character of all time?
Okay, I have to say Moon Knight.
Okay.
And Ghost Rider, though, being a very close second.
Like right there, right? Like just A and B. Yeah.
But Moon Knight, mostly because I had never heard of Moon Knight before. I discovered him through, the comics. And I fell in love with him the more I started collecting of his earlier stuff and beyond. And like I said, with my love of the moon and just how, like, his whole background, how he died and he came back to life and was granted powers by the Egyptian moon god. And he has different personalities, and he's a badass in all of them. And he's just a cool looking character with just a lot of history. And I love the creators that worked on him. And, he's had so many different runs. I love the character. And when I started collecting, I didn't even know that there was going to be a show coming out. So I can't wait for that. I'm nervous about it because I love the character so much. that I'm gonna try not to have like super high expectations. But I'm thrilled. But yeah, other than Moon Knight, Ghost Rider for sure. Although I wish I could do like a top 5, but we'll keep it at those.
We'll give you a 1A, 1B. We'll let that slide there to throw those two in. But yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. By the way, I have to pause for a second because Something Wong just threw a $20 super chat. Dude, thank you so much, man. He says Michelle and Justin are both such positive forces in the community. I appreciate one and everyone. I appreciate one and everyone of the new friends made through this community. Yay, Michelle.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Wong, yes. My goodness, man. Thank the $20. That's probably my that's very generous of you, and I do appreciate that. And I'll play another clip here that I always like to play. So here you go.
Babe, I know I just bought a really expensive comic book, but hear me out. I am selling books too, so it's basically like I'm not spending anything.
Really? So what have you sold?
What have I sold? I'm going to sell. I'm saying I'm going to start selling. Is what I'm saying.
That's a very, I know everybody can relate to having to describe that in some way, shape, or form.
100%. Yep.
So thank you, Something Wong, brother, for the $20 super chat. Really appreciate you, man.
Words. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're awesome, my friend.
Very cool. Everybody showing support here. So all right, let's get back into this here. If you could have one superpower, what would that superpower be?
Oh man, teleportation.
Nice.
I mean, hands down. If I could go anywhere and it wouldn't, it only take an instant, like
oh
yeah, hands down.
So much saving so much time. I love it.
Yeah.
I know I asked you about your favorite character before, but I'm curious of if you had to choose one, who your favorite villain is.
Oh, Dracula.
Ooh, okay, nice. That was good. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, hands down. Dracula.
Cool.
It's one of my favorite runs that I'm collecting. I'm almost finished with, and I love his character, and I love that we get to kind of see sometimes kind of get a glimpse into his emotions through different stories, and I mean, yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Great pick. Wong saying Banff. Yeah, that would Michelle would be bamfing everywhere, back and forth. Yeah, Mr. Moonlit. I'm going to start selling. Exactly. That's how you got to follow it.
One day.
Yeah. He said if you've ever seen Jumper, you'd want to teleport. Yeah, Jumper. I remember that film.
I don't think I saw that.
Yeah, it was kind of like a random.
When I get out of here, like, you haven't seen that?
Yeah.
Movies you haven't seen.
Tim, take care, brother. Great to see you.
Thanks for coming by.
All right, let's. I'm gonna go with if you could only choose one Marvel film, which one is your favorite Marvel film?
Oh, all right. So I have a top 3.
Nope,
sure. But I'm gonna pick one. I guess I'm gonna go with Infinity War, because that's when we got to see everybody come together.
Yeah.
It was an amazing movie, and it kind of all came full circle, and everybody was together in that movie for kind of like the big kind of ending few movies. Like that's what kicked it off. So
yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, Infinity War. And I hesitate to say that though, because without watching all the rest, like you would, like if you knew nothing about Marvel movies and you watch that, it wouldn't have the same impact. But if you're familiar with Marvel characters at all, like it's a workout. So
it's like the grand finale of everything that you've taken your time to watch through the years, and the fact that it's like kind of it ends on a downward note, like as it's kind of like a part 1 to the finale in a way, if you think about it.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine being in the movie theater and seeing that.
It was so different because everybody was quiet, everybody was devastated. They no one knew how to feel. Like they were just like, that's how it ends. Like they were like, not that they were angry, like they were like, they liked it, but it was just so shocking to know that a film just ended like that,
right?
And that they were willing to make a film like that. So I think it was just a special film overall. So, and like you said, it brings everybody together. You get to see all the characters. So I think that's a great pick. And we got my man John from John's Comics with Kids in the chat. Good to see him. He says sorry to be late. He was probably backstage, and I probably just didn't. He's probably online still. Hashtag still backstage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep him back there for another few hours.
Yeah. Mr. Moonlit says, yes, that's why I love you. I think he likes that film as well.
Yeah.
So very cool. Hey, we got Eric the Phoenix in the house. He says, listening in but driving, stopping in to say big ups to the mayor, to the mayor and Moonlit. Good to see you, Eric. Thanks for
mayor there.
Yeah. Travel safe, my friend. Travel safe. Philip here says Guardians of the Galaxy for the win. Yeah, those are fun too. Those are totally
I loved
fun.
those more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
Actually, I feel like that about a lot of the movies. I love them more than I thought I would.
Yeah. I'm with you. John said, my daughters were so upset with the credits rolled for Infinity War. They never forgave me. Just to that film. Yeah, it was devastating. It definitely was. Wong here says, great choice as well. What about, I always like asking this question. If you could go back in time and buy any one comic book for cover price, whatever the actual cover price of that book is, and keep it for, you can't sell it. It's just a book that you would keep and take to the grave with you. What would that one comic book be that you would travel back in time to buy?
Either Marvel Spotlight 5. Probably Marvel Spotlight 5, but my close second would be Werewolf by Night 32.
Yeah, I mean, a 10-cent book. Imagine getting that for 10 cents or whatever it was.
I think Marvel Spotlight 5 I would pick that over Moon Knight. I mean, yeah, that's tough. But I think Marvel Spotlight 5 would be something I would be
Well,
super clean copy of that book, just
it would be
hold on to forever.
Yeah. It would be a 10.0 probably.
I mean,
if you took care of it.
Yeah, and at this point, like I plan, that's like my next big purchase coming up, and like just to own like a 2.0 complete copy of that is going to be so special for me. So I just can't imagine. Like, shout out to Paul Morris, like, who has these incredible books that he's kept in pristine condition since he's bought them, back in the day. And like that would be so cool to do. I mean, there's probably a lot of other books that I would go back and buy, but just based on my interest now, I'll say Marvel Spotlight 5.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially with the story you told. The fact that you passed it up, and now you're like kind of regretting it. You're like, damn it, why didn't I just buy it then? So I think you have to go with that. I like that. Philip says Turok 1, and something Long says Batman 1. That's definitely.
See, I didn't even think about like the Golden Age stuff.
But like you said, it's what you're collecting right now. You're not necessarily like reading a lot of Batman at the moment. So obviously that book's like very expensive, but you can't sell this book, so it doesn't matter.
Right, that's the thing. Like, I could go and get an Amazing Fantasy 15 and wonderful, but is that going to mean as much to me? Right. Have forever and ever?
No, exactly. So great choice on your part, I think there. What is currently your favorite indie title that you're reading?
Oh, okay. So I would say my all-time favorite, the series that kind of got me more on board with the new comics was Gideon Falls.
Yes,
I still have to finish. I think I have 2 volumes left to read.
Oh, nice. Okay,
because I started reading it and I loved it so much, and I loved the artwork and everything. But that kind of like made me realize, like, yes, like new comics, I can really like get down with this stuff. But right now I'm reading Saga for the first time.
Yes.
Which is so bizarre and so beautiful, and just it just sucks you right in. And now I understand like why everybody loves it. And it's special to me because I'm reading it along with some girlfriends.
Nice.
We're kind of, and some of us for the first time, some of us for the second time, and kind of in preparation for the new issues that are going to be launching at the end of January. And we might have a special announcement based on kind of our group reading coming up in the next few weeks. So stay tuned, because you guys will hear all about it. But this is my first kind of experience with not only reading like an entire, like, it's called the compendium, reading like, so many issues at once instead of just single issues or like a 5-issue
like trade. A trade. Right.
Yeah. So this is not only and I'm brand new to the entire world of the comic, and it's my first time reading it with friends and being able to discuss. So it's very special to me, and I'm very excited for that.
Oh, I love that you're diving into that. We were supposed to have Me and Haley and Victoria, we were supposed to do a breakdown of the first trade last month, but we had to move some things around, so we're planning to still do a trade breakdown at some point. But
Oh, awesome.
it's definitely, I mean, I'm glad anybody that's getting on board, whether you've read it before or you're brand new to it. I'm rereading it now as a reread for the first time. I actually haven't read the last couple of trades on purpose before the whole announcement, because I was just so in love with the series that I didn't want it to end. And at that point, they were not coming back. There was no announcement of them coming back. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna take my time with it, until something does. Now, obviously, they've made the announcement, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do the reread, and as I do the reread, I'm gonna go into the newer stuff for the first time too. So,
which is crazy. I mean, who knew that after 3 years they would come back out with new issues? I think it's very exciting.
Yeah, that's actually right when I got kind of into comics was around that time, and that's when they went on hiatus there, and I was like, oh dang, so I was a little hesitant, but I definitely, like you said, very unique, and I love the story. Very, very good stuff. And then
reminds me of real quick. It reminds me of Nice House on the Lake. Like, I really love that. I know that's DC Black Label, I think. So it's not indie, but it feels like an indie story to me. And as soon as we all, started loving that story, it's like, oh, well, we'll be back in March.
Yeah. I'm like, don't do that. What? Don't do that. Yeah.
No, it's only a 12-issue series, dude.
I know.
Come on, just finish it up.
I know. And I think that, I know there's been a lot of speculation on why they did that or whatever. I personally think that he does have it all done. And but that I don't know. I mean, I don't know why he wants to break it up the way he does, but I do think he already has it done, because some people think that he's just writing on the cuff or whatever it is. I mean, I don't know what's true per se, but I also know he's very busy in terms of all the different things that Tynan's been putting out. But either way, I'm excited for more of that. And I agree with Philip here. Jeff Lemire is godlike for sure. I love Lemire.
I like Jeff.
So I'm glad you said Gideon Falls. I knew you were reading some of that. I didn't know where you were with it, but I'm glad that you're really enjoying it, and especially because it goes down that horror genre, which is and it gets crazy. You're not even at the you've read some crazy stuff, but the last two trades are insane. There's just
I can't
so
wait.
Much. Yeah,
I had to kind of take a break from that to keep up with the single issues that I'm pulling and other stuff, and now Saga. So who knows when I'll get to finish that, but I will let you know as soon as I am done. But I love it, and I love the Andrea Sorrentino art in that book, because it reminds me kind of that kind of abstract Bill Sienkiewicz-ish. I love anything that's different like that.
Yeah, totally. I'm with you. Absolutely.
Same thing with Department of Truth with that.
Yeah, Martin Simmons. Yeah.
But I love that stuff. So.
Me too. I'm with you. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Let's see. A couple other rapid fire stuff here. Going to kind of run through some of these. We'll start with what do I want to start with? Let's start with some lighter stuff. We'll go with pizza or cake. I always ask this question: pizza or cake?
Pizza, yeah. Cake. All right. Out of all the desserts, cake is not my favorite.
Not your thing. Okay, fair. I mean, I'm all about pizzas. You know me. So, what about Pepsi or Coca-Cola?
Coca-Cola. If I had to drink, I'm not a big soda drinker, but if I had to drink a Coke, it would be one of the little ones in the bottle.
Yep.
I think I think it's actually from Mexico, the Mexican Coca-Cola in a bottle. Nice. For some reason, that's the best.
The one that, yeah. Extra sugar or something.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here, this might be tough and unfair, but I'm going to ask you this anyway. John Byrne or John Romita Sr.?
John Romita Sr.
Fair.
Yeah, I'm more familiar with him.
Okay.
I know John Byrne. He's mostly known for X-Men, I think.
A lot of the stuff that I collect.
Yeah, I know now. I failed your test. So.
I'm like, all right, guys, we're gonna wrap up early here.
I'm more familiar with him, and he's worked on more of the stuff that I collect. And I do like X-Men, and I have a small X-Men collection. And I actually do have, I think, the book where John Byrne first drew the X-Men.
Okay.
The Marvel team up.
Yeah.
Book,
yep.
With the Hulk.
Yeah. You're right. Yep.
Pretty sure I had that.
Yep.
I'll end up sharing that soon on my IG.
There
And
you go.
I'll have to give you a shout out.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Yeah, yeah. Tag me. All right. What about Man Thing or Swamp Thing?
Swamp Thing, 100%. Although I am starting to have an appreciation for Man Thing, and I've started to collect some of his kind of key books, and I do like his character. At first, I never thought, I was like, oh no, it's like a Swamp Thing ripoff. Like, no, forget it. But no, I like both, and they both fall into like kind of that horror category for me. But if I had to pick one, Swamp Thing, 100%.
Nice.
From the Byrne rights and stuff to the Alan Moore run to the brand new run that's currently releasing by Rom V. I love it all. So
nice. All right, let's shift gears here a little bit. We'll talk about some non-comic book related stuff, and then we'll wrap the show up. And if there's any shout outs or anything that you want to plug here, we'll close out with that. Let's talk about well, if you could travel anywhere in the world, you and Mr. Moonlit,
okay.
and it was completely paid for a full week, no pandemic, completely safe, anywhere you do choose to go to, and you've never been there before, where is your go-to play, or where would your go-to place be to travel?
So yeah, the caveat is somewhere I've never been. If that wasn't a part of it, I would choose to go to Sicily, and I would take John to Sicily. But I've been there before because I'm half Sicilian, and my mom, my mom was the first to be born here in the States. And so we have family still in Sicily. I've traveled there several times, and it's a very, it's very special to me. And one day I will take John there. But that being said, like, I'm so connected to that side with my heritage with Sicily and that culture. But on my dad's side, not so much. But my grandmother was Welsh, and her parents were from Wales. And I always thought it would be cool to go to Wales. And just kind of explore and kind of connect to that side of my heritage and my roots. And also it looks so beautiful there, like lots of Celtic history and castles and rolling hills and kind of cliffs and little beach towns and just, I don't know. I feel like it would be beautiful and peaceful. And also, that way I can say I've been to both countries that make up the majority of my heritage,
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's very cool. Great point too. Let's see. And great picks. Let's talk about sports here. Cause we talked a little, I know you and I've talked a little bit about sports, like when we were out, actually probably our first time meeting when we were in Terrificon. I know that we touched on some of it, but where do you currently stand with sports, and who's your kind of go-to team that you root for whichever sport that it is that's kind of your favorite?
Okay, so the last few years I haven't been so much into sports, like following the teams that I was born and raised liking. So I was born and raised as a Redskins fan. My dad and my grandfather had season tickets, and they would take myself and my younger brother to games back before, like, even when it was the old stadium, So when I was younger and as a teenager and stuff, like, I was really into football, and I would follow it. I had jerseys and but yeah, like, I don't know, man. I'll always be a Redskins fan, but I don't really like going to that stadium anymore, attending the games. I don't really buy any of the merch. Like, the team is not great. I don't know. I mean, this, like I couldn't even tell you anything about the team this year. I don't really, like I said, I don't follow it. But John is a Zeppelin fan. That's another local team. And I'm not one of those Redskins fans who is like going to hate on the Ravens. Like, it's still a local home team. And I'll root for them, and I'll watch the games with John because he's much more into football than I am. Football is great. I just, unfortunately, my team, my forever team, is not like the best.
Maybe.
And baseball, I grew up same thing, kind of because of my dad and my grandfather. I grew up in the Orioles, and I'm not really big into baseball, but it is, I think you said this before, Justin, like, it's different when you go to a game. It's so much more fun to go to a game, or
especially Camden Yards is beautiful.
Camden Yards is a great stadium. And I love baseball. I don't follow it. Like, I don't really in general, I don't follow sports that closely.
Right.
But I do love baseball. I've been to a lot of different stadiums around the country.
Yeah.
And I have an appreciation for the history behind baseball and behind these stadiums and the teams. And I think it's absolutely amazing. But yeah, Redskins and Orioles would be, I'm kind of stuck with them.
Nice. Well, there's always room on the Ravens bandwagon,
I know.
So you're more than welcome to jump on board with us.
I told John, like, I will root for the Ravens and I'll watch the games with you guys, but you're never gonna get me to put on a jersey or anything like that. Like, I might wear like a black shirt to a game or purple.
Purple. Yeah, there you go. Your vibe behind you all purple, like you look good in purple. I'm just saying, like you could rock it,
Yeah. You could change. They're like color changing lights.
No. Purple. Keep it purple. Keep it purple. One day, Lady No Good and I will. I mean, we like to go. We like to at least try to see one Yankee game down in Camden Yards when they play against the Orioles. So we will have to plan something with you guys because that would be a lot of fun.
Fantastic.
Yeah. That would be cool. All right, let's dive into a topic that I know you are really looking forward to discussing, and I'm curious to see some of the things that you have for this. But let's talk a little bit about music. Where do you stay? Like, what's your favorite genre, and who's your favorite artist? And I know, like I said, feel free to you have some things you want to show, then go for it.
Yeah. So this was probably like the toughest question for me, like is to answer those, because my love of music spans over many different genres and decades, and I'm always discovering new stuff. Like my Spotify account, like I have a playlist for like every genre you can think of.
Same.
But I would, if I had to pick one, I would say like classic rock is my top
the go-to
favorite genre. Just because I grew up listening to that music. From my mom and others, and actually this year I inherited a pretty big record collection. So when I found the comic books and all that, my mom had been going through her storage unit in the basement, and she was like, "Hey, do you want these records?" I'm like, "Yes, are you kidding me?" So she gave me her records. Some of my aunt's records were in there, all my dad's records.
Wow.
And then when John's dad found out about it, John's dad was like, "Well, hey, you can come take these records. These are, heavy boxes. I don't need these anymore." Yeah. So I have now I have like 4 huge boxes of records, and
that's awesome.
It means a lot to me. And I also have my grandmother's old record player.
Oh, nice.
Super heavy piece of like furniture that's probably from like the 60s. It still works, and I brought it home and I lugged it upstairs, and it's become a big part of my life. So I did bring some records to show you.
Cool.
So hang on one second. And I did make some notes about like my favorite artists and bands within each genre, just because otherwise I would forget everything. But as far as like classic rock, like CCR, Jimi Hendrix, The Who, Rolling Stones, Pink Floyd, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, the Eagles, Fleetwood Mac, Billy Joel, Steppenwolf, that type of stuff. So
love it.
Some of the records that I inherited, some of my favorites, the CCR, it's like a live album. It's the only CCR album I have. So I had to bring that.
Very nice.
Got Led Zeppelin, Physical
Classic.
Graffiti. This is such a cool one.
Yep.
Like all these are like super dusty and beat up. I mean, they were not stored properly, but
it's
all like comics. Like you still have to appreciate like, there's a certain smell to records. Like
yes, absolutely, yeah, totally.
Oh my god, one of my absolute favorites.
Love it.
Hendrix.
Yep.
We got Rolling Stones, the Hot Rocks album. I think this is like a compilation of some of their like hits.
Very nice.
Another greatest hits, Steppenwolf.
Yep. Love it.
The Eagles. So this is actually, I bought this. This was the first record I ever bought myself. After I inherited these records, I started to want to look for them now, like on my own.
Right.
Kind of like the comics,
Yeah.
So this was the first one I found. It's kind of cool, like this promotional DJ copy.
Very cool.
For like $2 or something. It's just really cool.
Nice.
Forever classic album.
Oh yeah, love that album.
I was so happy that this was in there. I was
Yeah.
like, oh yes, like goodness. The Who, Live at Leeds. This is a great one. And then we have a Beatles album here. So my mom was a huge Beatles and Who fan. And so I probably have like every album from the Beatles and the Who. Like there's so many. That was basically like 90% of her entire collection.
That is awesome.
It was the Beatles.
I love the Beatles. They changed the game. So the fact that you have it on vinyl especially is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so I wanted to bring those records to show off just because it's my favorite genre. I grew up listening to this stuff, and now I have all these amazing old albums. Like I've been very blessed over the last year to have kind of like to have these hobbies fall into my lap, and they mean so much to me.
Yeah.
But like some other, if you want, I can go through kind of some of my other favorites, like music.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You know, so I really love like Sublime.
Oh, heck yeah.
Besides classic rock, Sublime is probably my favorite band. You know, and Citizen Cope. Like I love that kind of like chill alternative, like reggae type of stuff between those two. The Black Keys, like Deftones, Rage Against the Machine.
Hell yeah.
Also like metal stuff like Slipknot and Gojira, Devil Driver, Rob Zombie.
I know we were talking a little metal when we were down in Baltimore, and you brought your friend with you, and she had brought up that you introduced her to a couple of things, and and
vice versa. And John is like super into metal music, like super heavy stuff. So you know, I've been learning a lot and discovering a lot through him.
Nice.
But I also I love country. I really love country music too, like Morgan Wallen and Luke Combs and
Luke Combs is great.
Chris Stapleton, you know.
Stapleton, yeah. Saw him live. He was great live.
And I didn't know where to put her, but she started out with country, so I'll mention her now. I love Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. I knew you were going to say.
What anyone says. I love Taylor Swift. And I really like how she's evolved over the years, and I think she's a very talented artist. So I love hip hop too. Like I love Nas, A Tribe Called Quest, like the old Drake and old Eminem stuff, and Outkast and J. Cole and Kid Cudi. I'm all across the board. And I also like, last thing is kind of like funky electronic stuff. Like I really love Grizz, Griz.
Ooh, okay.
Really awesome music from them. And also stuff like Glass Animals. Just, I don't know, man. I love music. I can get down with any type of genre, but that's kind of just a sampling, scratching the surface of what I'm into.
Very cool. Yeah, I would be curious. I'd love to see your Spotify like playlist one day. And just, you know, like you know how Spotify does the end of year 2020 or 2021, like the what you've listened to most. Like I'm always curious for myself, like what my top bands are, and I'm very much like you, like all over the place. I have some of my like absolute go-tos and favorites, but genre wise, I'm everywhere. Like I'm very open to a lot of different things. I love the experience of hearing something new for the first time. Yeah. So no matter what the genre is, so that I'm always looking forward to, and just really capturing that moment of hearing a song for the first time. Like it's something that you can never get back. Like you get one chance, at hearing something like that. So things like that kind of stand out to me. And so it's really cool that you're into that. And one thing I'm going to add, if you get a chance, or when you get a chance, check out, or if you haven't already, check out the new comic book that came out by Rom V, Radiant Apocalypse. I don't know, have you picked that up, or did you hear about this?
I've heard of it, but I have not picked it up.
Okay, so later I'll message you too. But Radio Apocalypse is a post-apocalyptic comic book that relates to music, has a very heavy music theme. Okay. And secretly, not so much a secret now, but not everybody knew this when they first were getting into it, but there is a soundtrack to go along with it. So I think you would really appreciate it. And it's different styles of music too. So it's not just like one thing or whatever, but it's a really cool concept of a book. Me and Nick from Nick Comic Culture, we just broke down the first issue a couple weeks ago. And it's Ram V. Ram V's just been so amazing with his writing recently. So if you get a chance, I would say, I think it's only going to be like 4 or 5 issues. It's not going to be like an ongoing. But if you get a chance, read that first issue and listen to the music with it the way Ram V like kind of explains it. And I think you would really appreciate it. Yeah, because there were songs I listened to that I never heard before while reading that book, and it just made the experience so much more special. And I hope to see more creators do stuff like this. Comic book creators tie in certain. I know that he's not the first to do this. I know there's been others too, but it's just such a cool way to like go about reading a comic book nowadays. It's very different, and it also just gets other creators involved, not just comic book creators, but
comics and music.
Artists.
I love when they cross over, and there's so many different ways that they do so. So I'll definitely check that issue out, or that series out.
Yeah, totally. I'll message it to you. Yeah, I think you'd appreciate it. A couple things in the comments here before we wrap up. He says Taylor Swift is a national treasure and we must protect her at all costs. Yeah, definitely. I've always been a fan of Taylor Swift, even when she first came out. Like what's it called? Teardrops on My Guitar. The song called Tim McGraw that she wrote.
Yeah,
those early country hits, and then even the stuff now I really like.
Her most recent album is amazing.
Yeah, she redid Red from her 2011 or 2010 album Red, finally redone. I love what Phil says here. He says, if you do not like Taylor, just shake it off. We'll do a little.
Taylor Swift and I are around the same age, and so I started listening to her first album when I was much younger, and it's kind of like you get to see her evolve and grow, and she's just so talented, and I like her as a person from what I know of her as a celebrity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I could literally go from listening to Taylor Swift to like Pantera to like freaking jazz, like, and you just never know. But I love music, and I love just being able to kind of pick depending on my mood, or being introduced to, like, my favorite is when somebody will recommend a band to you that you've never listened to, and then you end up loving them, and it's like, all right, adding this to the playlist, to the arsenal. And live music is, I mean, you can't beat it.
Yep. I'm with you there, and I'm glad Lady No Good and we've just been able to go back to concerts recently, and I just took her to a couple metal concerts the past couple weeks actually, and she enjoyed it. She really, she's not into metal per se, but she's definitely been open to a lot of the things I've been introducing her to. So me and Mr. Moonlit, we're gonna have to actually all of us, 4 of us, are gonna have to talk on some of these things. Yeah,
he took me out to see Slipknot for the first time a couple years ago.
Nice.
He actually saw them back in, like, when they first came out, when they were still on the second stage at like a show, and he's been a big fan. He grew up with them, so the fact that he got to take me to see them, I think it was the same venue that he saw them for the very first time, like 20 years earlier. That was very special to him and for me, because I love that band. But I would love to go to more metal shows. It just, concerts in general. I feel like we have some making up to do from the last
year and a half. Yeah, you're right about that for sure.
Yeah.
Mr. Moonlit talking about Ozfest.
1999. Yeah, there we go.
Yep. Good stuff. All right, Michelle. I have one more question, and then we'll wrap up and have you share anything that you have coming up here in just a moment. And again, thank you all still who are hanging out with us. Appreciate everybody. If you've been watching this replay, always appreciate you taking that time to watch the replay. Last question. I got to close it out with food. I'm such a food, foodie, a food junkie.
Right now too.
Yes, yeah. I always like to torture myself and my guests, as we talk food. So, what is your go-to meal if you and Mr. Moonlit, if you're Friday night and you guys are either going out to eat or you're ordering in or you're cooking, what is it that you like to do, and what's like the go-to meal for you?
So if we're staying in and making a meal, so it's not often that John is actually home to have dinner with me because of his schedule. So if he is, it's usually a weekend, and we'll definitely do steaks. So we'll go and pick up a couple like nice fresh fillets and maybe some asparagus and some sweet potatoes on the side.
Nice.
Usually asparagus and sweet potato, but sometimes we'll switch it up. Like I like to do mashed sweet potatoes, but just basically, a couple steaks, like seared medium. If it's summertime, we'll be on the grill. But yeah, just fresh steaks is kind of our absolute go-to. If we're going out, I would say either sushi, especially because we discovered a really, really good sushi place that's only like 10 minutes away. And we didn't know about it until recently, but we've always loved sushi. So sushi is a great go-to for going out to eat. Other than that, like, I mean, I love all sorts of food, all sorts of, different types of food. But I really am into like the types of restaurants that do like craft cocktails made from like scratch, fresh ingredients, and like farm to table type of stuff. Like a seasonal rotating menu, and like that's like I love that type.
Yeah,
of stuff.
yeah.
There's a few restaurants around here in Annapolis area, but yeah.
You have a lot of good restaurants down there. Well, the Annapolis area. For sure, especially on the water there. Oof. We'll be back down there.
We're gonna go
back down there one day
now after this, okay, Mr. Moonlit?
Yeah, get ready to do some eating here. Yeah, I'm starving. There's always, I don't know, I really got to work my show around where maybe I open with that or something. I don't know. Or we'll have sushi while I interview you or something like that.
By the way, I know this has gone a little bit over.
It's all good.
Time, but this has been so much fun. I'm so just appreciative of you for highlighting me and interviewing me and having me on your show.
Absolutely. Heck yeah. I appreciate you taking the time. This has been a long time coming. We've been, planning this out. I remember the first time we talked about you coming on the show, and it was even before you've ever been on stream.
Yeah.
And we were like planning this out. You're like, okay, like, I want my first time to be on camera. It'll be on your show. We're going to plan, we're going to have this thing, big thing. And like, and you were very like, you had to like test your network out and everything like that. And, and then, we had to like push things back and all this stuff. But like, I've said this before, but I just love seeing the growth in your journey for this hobby, your journey for the collecting, your journey for the reading side of things, your journey for the experiences that you share on camera with everybody that you've been with, or even just you being in the chat of people's streams, the inside jokes that we've all developed together, the stories that we've developed, going out to eat, like, Baltimore, like all these great things, and just knowing that it's been less than a year for you. It's just really special. And I truly mean it when I say you become like a best friend of mine, like in this community, people that I've met. And yeah, just like, can't wait to see, because I know you have some big things coming up. I know that we have some more cons, 2022, we're going to do it big again, and just continue to have a blast and meet more people and have good laughs. So I really, again, Michelle, appreciate you to, being on this platform, and obviously not the last time. I'm going to have you back on the channel again. We'll have to, collaborate and work out some stuff. So we'll definitely do some things.
And it means a lot to me that you have been here to witness my journey unfold from the very beginning to now, and along the way I've met a lot of new people, but the people that have been there from the get-go, you guys are my besties, and I will always appreciate you, but there are so many people in this community that I am absolutely, I couldn't imagine not talking to on a regular basis or not knowing. And it's truly the best community in the world. I know, like our friend Roscoe says all the time. And I never expected this getting into the hobby. And it's just a beautiful thing. And the way we all come together. I just don't know of any other hobby where there's a community that's this special and this amazing. And I'm just so thankful to be a part of it, and to meet friends that I plan to have for a lifetime.
Absolutely. 100%. And I hope when you get a chance, Michelle, go back through and you'll have to, all the comments, the love that has been shown throughout this whole stream. I'm trying to highlight a bunch just so everybody, sees them, or if they're catching the replay, but yeah, there's a lot of love in the chat.
I can't
What's up, Sleepy?
You guys are the best.
Yes, absolutely.
I appreciate the support. I really, really do. I can't say enough.
Sheena said, I adore you, Michelle. Justin, you're cool too.
Yeah. I see her say that all the time. I love it. Yeah, Justin, you're all right. You're all right.
Well, before we wrap up, let the people know where they can find you and some of the things that you might have coming up here.
Yeah. So we'll start with later tonight, I have another show.
Busy.
Yeah. No, it'll be fun. So I will be on a YouTube channel called Superpower Review. You might know him as Karate Kevin on Instagram. Super cool guy. It'll be my first time on his channel, and the show is called What's That Comic Book? So it'll be me and a few of our other friends. I think we're each going to bring like 3 random books to talk about, and just kind of go over the details of the book and why we love it. And so we have no idea what we're going to see on the show. It'll just be like a nice, mashup of people and comics. And that'll be at 7:00 Eastern tonight. So join us over there if you're free. I'm really looking forward to it.
I just dropped the link there too.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Channel. Yep.
Thank you for that. So that'll be fun. Let's see. As far as like YouTube appearances, I think that's all I have like kind of scheduled at this point in time. But you can always find me on Instagram. That's my main thing right now. I like to share. I usually try to share like 1 book every day. Sometimes I miss a day or 2, but I'm just sharing books from my collection that I'm excited to own, and I'll try to put the details in there and tell you guys about the story and the creators, or just whatever I find interesting. So definitely follow me over there, and DM me. I'd love to connect and chat about all things comics with you guys, and meet even more people. And then I did mention it a little bit earlier. I can't go into too much detail, but I said I'm reading Saga with some girlfriends right now, and we are planning a little something coming up. Not exactly sure the date and time, but we're definitely going to do some type of Saga kind of review. And I'll keep the details under wraps for now, but we will all announce and share once we kind of nail it down. But I'm very excited for that. And then sometime in the beginning of the new year, I have plans to launch a channel of my own. I'm just going to start slow. I have, kind of 1 show that I want to start doing. So, I will definitely, of course, announce that, well in advance. I still have some things that I'm working on, details and all that. But I think it'll be a great way to kind of celebrate 1 year in this hobby. By launching something of my own on my own platform. And I can't wait to see where I'll be in another year from now. Like, I can't even imagine like what other opportunities are going to come my way, what other experiences I'm going to have through conventions or YouTube, Instagram, meeting friends. Like, this is just a dream come true for me. And for me, comics will forever have a very special place in my heart, and always goes back to the reason I started collecting. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Yep.
I love it. Amazing. I can't say enough. I'm going to go cry now.
I love it. No, that's great. That was absolutely great. No, well said. And yeah, a lot of great things coming up for you. Can't wait to see more of, what you're coming up with, as you just mentioned, like, and I'm here for you. Anything you need, any questions you have, you've
been a big help. Great. You're like my
got your back,
advisor.
Yeah. I'm your personal marketing manager there.
Yeah.
By the way, this was hilarious. I just want to re-highlight in just saying follow her. She's got the little emoji, the little knife emoji. Yeah, cracking up there.
Inja, Nicole, Podnet, Sheena, HK Wifey, and Q, J Rails 247. That's kind of our gal squad, and that's
love it.
We're all kind of collaborating, working on something coming up soon. So, and I'm just so happy to have met such great female friends in this community. That's one other thing I didn't ever anticipate.
Yeah.
And I'm just there's so many amazing females in this community, but those are my girls. You know?
Girls. Love it. Absolutely. Inja says that we will follow you to the ends of the earth. There you go.
I love you guys.
A lot of love there. A lot of love. All right. That's gonna do it for this episode of Comic Collector Origins. Like I said, this is episode 63. It's just been an awesome journey. I want to thank everybody who has been hanging out in the chat. Want to thank everybody who's taken the time to watch this on a replay. Always appreciate that. And of course, want to thank Michelle again for doing this with me. I know we planned this out, so glad we were able to, finally get this going, and well worth the almost 2-hour stream, because we, there's a lot there. We had to share a lot. So I'm glad that
for giving me this opportunity and
Yeah.
the time. I appreciate your time, and this was so much fun for me.
Heck yeah.
I'm so glad we were finally able to make this happen, and thank you to everybody who hung out with us for 2 hours.
Yes.
And whoever is catching this on the replay, thank you. Yes, you too.
You,
Taking your line.
We're talking to you. They're like, ooh, me? Oh, they're talking to me. Yeah, absolutely love it. Again, letting everybody know I'm not going to be back with a Comic Collector Origins until January 8th. I know it sounds like a long time. It's like a little under a month, but we'll get through it together. I'll still be around. I'm still going to be putting out content. And just the weekends are tough. The holidays, obviously, a lot of things going on. So I figured just take this little bit of time off for the Origins show. But definitely going to come back strong. Have a lot of guests already lined up. As most of you know, probably like at least almost 4 months booked out right now. So definitely have a lot more great guests coming up, and looking forward to that. Other than that, this Tuesday, Omni X-Men is going to be back on this channel, 9 o'clock Eastern, as I mentioned at the beginning. And otherwise, I will be over on Instagram as always. So, if you have any questions or any concerns or want to just talk comics as usual, you can hit me up over there. Make sure you're following Michelle. All the information is in the description below. We're going to wrap up here. So again, thank you all so much for hanging out with us today, and have a great weekend. We will talk to you later. Peace.